We left off in the Maral in Gevruras Hashem, chapter 25. We're discussing, this is Moshe after the burning bush, where he has the dialogue with Hashem regarding him going to Egypt to be the Redeemer, the Goel. Yom Moshe hine bo, Moshe says to God, I'm coming, and they will ask me questions, and I have to know what to respond. Mashmo, Ma'omer Aleim. They will ask me, what is his name? What should I say? What should I respond? So the Maral asks, Ma'od yesh litmoa, Mash ele hizo, sheishlu yisrael mashmo shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu, shein sofek ki yedu shmo. There's no question. Page Kuf Dalet. There's no question what they don't know the name of God. I mean, Chazal tell us that the Levim, in terms of Jewish identity, the Jews had very strong Jewish identity, even though they were pagans. But in terms of their identity, as it says, in what schus and what merit did we leave Egypt? They had three primary merits. Loshinu Lishonam, they spoke Hebrew, although they knew Egyptian, they didn't change their language. Malbusham and Shemam, their attire and their names. Chazal also tell us that they did not reveal the secret, which they knew 10 months in advance, that before they go out, they're supposed to borrow the personal effects of the Egyptians, which means they were careful in terms of Lashon Hara, or being able not to reveal a secret. So but where did they have a sense of the Jewishness? They should have assimilated. So the Medrash tells us that the Levium, who were not part of the bondage, they would go out with scrolls into the fields, and they would tell them all about their background, the holy patriarchs, what they were before they came to Egypt, and so on and so forth. So they had a sense also, as it says in Chazal, there was a code word, which when they would hear that code word, they knew this person was the authentic Redeemer. Pakot Pakadati. That was passed down from Yaakov to Yosef, and this was passed down. So in terms of their heritage, they were aware of the heritage, very aware of the heritage. So the Maral asks, what do you mean? They'll ask, what is your name? There's no question. They knew the Shem Hashem. They knew that his name. Very Avram, Koro b'Shem Hashem, V'omar harimosi yodi el Hashem. This is at the time after he defeated the four kings, and the king of Stone was one of the captives. And he said to Avram Avinu, Tein li an-nefesh v'rechush kachloch. Give me the people, you take the material spoils. What does Avram do? He takes an oath. Hari Mosi Yodi El Hashem. I will not take Michut Vatzroch now, not a thread, not a bootstrap. And you're going to say, Ani Hasharti as Avram. You're going to say, you made me wealthy. Yen Yaakov Omer Hashem Omer Eli. This is when he supplicated God on his way back, where he was concerned that he would be killed by Esav. V'echlodu Yisrael Hashem Asher Hoya Murgal B'fi Avos. This was a household word. God was a household word by Jews. V'echlo Yodu Yisrael Hashem Asher Hoya Murgal B'fi Avos. V'nireh Shekachom Moshe Rabbeinu Olav HaSholom. This was the question that Moshe was putting to God. Ki Yom Yisrael Ato Bo Ligal Osanu. They can say, you're the Redeemer. Tomalod Mashmo Hamora Al Hagula. Once mentioned the Rambam in the English language or any language. How many appellations are there for God? I think in English there are three. There's God, there's Lord, there's Almighty. Those are the three references to God, appellations. In Hebrew, we speak about unpronounceable names, not even speaking about references, like we say Rachum, Chanun, Shalom. Talk about unpronounceable names. Endless. Kel, Shakai, Elokim, Ko, Adni, multiple names. So the Rambam, in the Laws of Yisod Torah, says what exactly is the significance of the various names, and who revealed these names? God himself revealed these names. if we want to understand what is the essence of God, is God merciful? Is he? Is his essence mercy? God's essence. We have no idea what his essence is. When we speak out God is Rachum or Chanun, he's merciful, he's gracious. That's only the way he relates to this existence. But in terms of his essence, we have no idea what his essence is. That he's chesed, or the multiple, endless interactions that he interplays with this existence, it's not a reflection on his essence. What is shakai? Shukol chadai. When God said vayihi, there should be. It should have continued forever. Why didn't it? He reined in on that energy. So meaning, when God created the world, as the Ramchal says, the Das Tfunos, God created the world not to display who he is. It was what was the objective of creation. What's in the best interest of man, that he should succeed in the objective, that he should be the greatest beneficiary of creation. So if God would have let it go beyond a certain point, it would not be to address the objective that the human being should be the ultimate beneficiary of creation. See, it's not here for God to show what his ability is. It's like you have a person who has one of a kind of IQ, and he has a child before he starts speaking. Is he going to start speaking about astrophysics to his child? What is he showing the child? You want to communicate with your child, you have to speak to the child on your child's level and develop the child on the pace of the child's development. God is not here to tell us what his ability is. His ability is infinite. So why did he create an infinite world? The answer is because that's not the purpose of existence. It's for the benefit of mankind, or for Klal Yisrael, which within a certain context, we are unlimited, because we have a capacity to cleave to him to become part of an unlimited system. So when they will ask, what is his name? You're the Goel. So within the context of Geula, what name, what appellation did he use? Within which context will he be interacting to bring about Gula? Gula doesn't mean just to be freed. It means much more than that, as we once explained. We'll see. You come to redeem us. What appellation did he use which indicates that he's going to interact to bring about the redemption? What exactly is the infrastructure and the order of how that will unfold the Gula? It's interesting. Take a look in the way the Rechaim HaKodesh, the Sefarno, all the commentators, we say, Rabbi Yehuda HaYanosem Heb Simonim. He used certain acronyms to establish the 10 plagues. What is the value? I mean, we can do the same as Rabbi Yehuda. What did Rabbi Yehuda HaYanosem Heb Simonim? So all the commentators explain, when we speak about deities, we're talking about it's a paganistic society. What's a deity? A deity is a power. But the power is a limited power. God, Lahavdil, Elef Avdolos, is the omnipotent, he's the all-encompassing. Is a Sefarno in Bereshis. Now, what does Kale mean? The appellation Kale. Kale means powerful. Mi chamocha be'elim Hashem. Who is as great as you among all the Elim? Who are Elim? Elim are the angels. The angels are called Elim. A deity, to a certain degree, they worship the angels. The sun has an angel, has a spiritual counterpart. Every force in nature has a spiritual counterpart to it. Mi chamocha ba'elim Hashem. Who is as great as you among all the powers? There's no power that's equivalent to your power. So what does that mean? He is the equivalent. He's greater than each individual power, or he is the equivalent of all of them combined, or they are a manifestation of what he wills. So the Sefarno says, Elokim is the plural of Kale. That's the Sefarno. Elokim is the plural. All the powers, he's Elokim. He's the all-encompassing being. But that itself doesn't do justice to what it is, because it's more than he's all-encompassing. They are an expression of him. It's not he's the equivalent of them. They are not outside of him. He wills their being that they could function in their own capacity, each one individually. So it's much more than that. So they wanted to know. So the portion the commentators explain, if you take a look by the plagues, he says, tell Paro that there's no one as me, b'chol ha'oretz. Or each plague displayed another aspect of God's dominion over the world, or over an aspect of something. We speak about dam tzvadeya, kinim. That's terrestrial. Then we have atmospheric. Each of the plagues touch upon a different aspect. By the time they were all completed, there was no part of existence that was not touched by him. What does that say? That means he is the totality. That's what it is. But that was the Seder Agula. That was the order of redemption. It started at one level, and as it evolved, it developed, it was the totality of everything. So what name indicates that? What's Yud Kei Vav Kei? Yud Kei Vav Kei indicates the infinite aspect of God. Hoya Hoviyah. There's no beginning, there's no end. He was, he is, he's in the future. That's what it is. This is really the Rambam. In the laws of Yesodi Torah, the fundamentals of Torah. Morim aleim, ki shmosav yizborach morim al pulosov, shem sudorim ito. The appellations, the names of God, it reveals his actions, which the order which is in place evolves and manifests itself and expresses itself from him. Lokach ezim in shmosav mor al agula. Which one of the names is an indication which indicates and demonstrates gula? Kach mashmin hatshuva kid isa per kamer brochos eya asher eya omalem HaKadosh Baruch Hu emol lohem liYisrael eya imoim b'shibud zeh. I will be with them in this bondage. V'ani eya imoim b'shibud acher, and I will be with them in the future bondage. Omal lefonov. So Moshe says to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you know, it's like a person says, a person has, God forbid, cancer. And you have the best oncologist. He has the miracle therapy, drug. And they said, this doctor's so phenomenal that even when you're going to be cured from this cancer and you get the next one, he'll be able to help you in the next one. Is that what you tell the patient? Look, let him first deal with what he does now. Yeah, you have to forecast what's going to be in the future. Eke asher eke. I'm with you in this bondage, but you realize there's going to be a future bondage. We don't have the capacity to deal with the present. We're going to deal with the future. So Moshe Rabbeinu says to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's sufficient, the tzorah at the present, at the moment. Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Yofe Amarto. Lechem Olhem. Eya Shalachani Alechem. He says, what you said is correct. Just tell him I will be. Eya Shalachani, I've sent you to them. Adkan. It doesn't mean say Chas v'Sholom. What Moshe understood better than Hashem. I mean, what God was sharing with Moshe was the reality, not to reveal to them. To reveal to them is Eya Shalachani Alechem. But in the reality, to see it fully, it's not only now, it's in the future. Adkan. Just thinking. Interesting. There's a famous Orach Chaim HaKadosh, which writes, it's in Parshas Veschanon, Moshe Rabbeinu supplicated God endless tefillos to be able to go into Eretz Yisrael. And God said, I don't want to hear about it. Enough. You can't pray any longer. Why was Hashem so not chas v'shalom, use the word obstinate. Why did God? Why wasn't He a little more flexible with Moshe Rabbeinu to allow him? So the Chaim HaKadosh explains that because anything that Moshe Rabbeinu was involved in took on an eternal status. Why is Tisha B'Av called Moed? Why is it? It's a holiday. It's a churban. A churban's a holiday. It was a destruction because Chazal tells what HaKadosh Baruch Hu says. He expended His wrath al eitzim v'avonim. Rather than destroying, find it's called Mishkan. Is mentioned twice in the same pasuk. Mishkan is the word mashkon. God took collateral. He took the first and second temples as collateral. Instead of taking us as payment, He took the Beis HaMikdash. It's Mishkan. Mishkan or Eidos. It's Mishkan. He took the two Mishkans. The two Beis HaMikdash. The two Batei Mikdash He took instead of us. God expended His wrath on Eitzim Vavonim. But if He wouldn't have to expend His wrath on that, let's say that wouldn't have been available, He would have expended His wrath on Klal, so we would have been destroyed. If Moshe Rabbeinu would have built the Beis HaMikdash and the Jews would fail, what would be the future? There is no future. There's no Klal Yisrael. Therefore, as a result of that, it was a Chesed Elyon that Moshe Rabbeinu should not go in, because ultimately we would fail, and as a result of that, it wouldn't be good for us. Therefore, Moshe Rabbeinu was denied entry into Eretz Yisrael. That's the Rachaim HaKodesh. Now, so what did Moshe believe? If Moshe Rabbeinu knew this, so what did he understand? Evidently he felt, by him being there, they're not going to fail. So therefore there's no concern. Otherwise, what's even the consideration? If the Beis HaMikdash, he read, Hashem already revealed to Moshe, the Mishkan will be taken twice. So be taken twice, that means they are going to fail in the future. So what's even the consideration? Moshe Rabbeinu lived for Klal Yisrael. He said, M'cheni nomi sifrucha. When Hashem was going to destroy us, he says, you know something? Take all my merit, put it on their account, and I'm willing to give up everything for them. So if Moshe Rabbeinu understands, if the Beis Mikdash cannot be destroyed, and a Klal Yisrael has to be destroyed, what's even the consideration to go in? So the only way we could understand it is saying, because Moshe believed that due to his influence, they would not fail. But how's that possible? Hashem already says, Eka asher eka. I will be with you in this bondage and a future bondage. But if Moshe Rabbeinu believes they will never fail in the future, there is no future bondage. There is no future bondage. So knowing this, that there is a future bondage, evidently they will fail. So seemingly it's a little difficult. So why did Moshe Rabbeinu pray to come in? What was even the consideration? Knowing the effect of his accomplishment, that anything he creates cannot be destroyed. Right? Just bring it as an issue, as a problem. The only thing maybe we could say, the Rambam rules regarding a Navi, just read about it. What is a false prophet? To establish yourself as a prophet, what do you have to do? So the Torah says you have to first of all, you have to perform something which is do a supernatural act. That's firstly. And also you have to forecast the future. And if it comes to fruition, that proves you're a Navi Emes. You're a true prophet. What happens if it doesn't come to fruition? When you forecast the future, doesn't? He's a Navi Sheker. He's put to death. So Rambam says, what about he forecasts something which is negative? Negative. And it doesn't happen? It's not an indication. Why? Because firstly, they could do tshuva. We find by Ninveh, they could do tshuva. Also, you have Midas HaRachmim. Maybe the Rachmim, for whatever reason, Hashem withdrew the decree because of his Midas HaRachmim. So if it's in the negative, it's not an indication he's a Navi Sheker. If it's in the positive and doesn't happen, then he's a false prophet. But if it's a negative, it's not an indication he's a false prophet. It's the Rambam. So I'm saying, Eka asher eka. I will be in this bondage and the future bondage. Moshe Rabbeinu thinks, who said there has to be a future bondage? I'm not going to tell them, but who said there will be? With my influence, I'll always put them in a position. They don't say even if they do, they'll do tshuva. But Hashem already says there will be. But maybe he understood it. It doesn't mean. It's the same thing like the Navi forecasting. The Navi Hashem said there will be. But just it be doesn't have to be. Because there could always be a retraction. Hashem could always retract, and does retract. That's the Midas HaRachmim. Therefore, Moshe Rabbeinu felt, me being there, I'll be able to bring that about. The Kavanosum Bezek Moshe Amarnu. Ki Yisholim Yisrael Be'ez Hashem Tia Gula. Ve'heshav Lem Hagula Tia B'Shem Eker Asher Eker. Ki Shem Eker More. What does Eker mean? I will be. Al Shu Yisborach Havayo Shemi'ito Miskayim HaKol. Means he affects everything. God affects everything. Everything is drawn from the source. He's the essence of everything, and everything emanates and flows from him. There's a famous word from Rav Chaim Volozhiner, Nefesh HaChaim. We find that one of the references to Hashem is Mokom. A person has to console a person. God is the Mokom, the location. Right? Baruch HaMokom Baruch Hu, we say in the Agora. Baruch HaMokom Baruch Hu. What do you mean the Mokom? So there's a Medrash. The Medrash says that Hu Mekomo Shel Olam Ve'ein Ha'olam Mekomo. He is the location of existence, but his existence is not his location. If God is infinite, infinite means he cannot be contained. There's no beginning, there's no end. Does God have a location? God can't be contained within anything. But rather, the location, he is the basis for the location. Hu Mekomo Shel Olam. Why is there a location? Because he wills existence. So there is a location. But what is location? You have a table. A table has a capacity, you could put things on the table. So the table, because it has a capacity to contain what's put on it, therefore it's the location of whatever's on the table. What is the basis for existence? Hashem willing existence. So it's even more than we speak a physical location. It's not a context where it contains something. Here, every moment that anything exists, it exists because God wills its existence. So why does the Mokom exist? Why is there such a thing as Mokom? Because God wills that it should be it. It should be. So what's the Mekomo Shel Olam? Eino Olam Mekomo. The world is not his location. But he is the basis for the world. For the Mokom, he is the basis. That's Eya, Havayo. We say he's Mahave. How did things come into existence? Hashem says, Yior, Yehi. That's Eya. There should be light, there was light. Yirokia. So Chamayim. There was a Rakia. There was a spreading in the middle of the water. Separate the upper waters from the lower waters. Right? There's always the Yehi. That's Hoya Hoviyah. So Eya, it indicates he causes things to happen. Everything emanates from him. Ulefichoch. Hu medaber bado ki medaber bado el zlos nigla elov. Karzeu Hashem shu ba'alif. Right, he said Ehya, Aleph. Ficho hu beloshen medaber bado. Ki medaber bado el zlos nigla elov. He is speaking on behalf of God. Kachu ze Hashem shu ba'alif hamedaber bado mor al shu nimtzo v'nigla el nimtzoim. Uma shehu nosei mitzius v'kiyum nimtzoim harei nimtzo lehem. It's interesting. One of the 13 tenets of Jewish belief is what? That there are Nevi'im. God communicates with people. Right? He communicates. No, Moshe Rabbeinu is Ava Nevi'im. He's the father of all prophets. He's the greatest. Now, why is that such an important tenet? That Moshe Rabbeinu is Ava Nevi'im, that's understood. Because the basis for Torah, that's Moshe Rabbeinu. But why does a person have to believe that there is such a thing as nevuah, that God communicates with people? Maybe he doesn't communicate with people. Now, if there is a creator, right, why is it so important to believe that there's a creator? If there's a creator, there's a purpose, there's an objective in creation that has a purpose. Could you imagine? You have a world which, relatively speaking, is endless. Relatively speaking, it's infinite. I remember I once mentioned this in the past, when they first sent up the Hubble telescope. I don't remember how many years ago this was. So they had pictures come back, 1,000,000 miles of space dust. I mean, we can't even relate to that. That's the dust, and it's beyond that. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu creates a world, just the landmass. We're not talking about the galaxies and what's out there. It's not to be fathomed. It's unfathomable. He created this. So evidently, what you created? Person builds a house, 100 rooms, 1,000 rooms. So you say, why? Sometimes you don't understand why he built such a big house. Why? Person has 2 children and 6 dogs. He has a 1,000-room mansion. What does he need it for? And 20-car garage for the cars that he hasn't yet bought, right? And how many graves does he have, right? He only has for him and his pet. What else does he have for? Just being very facetious, right? I mean, so what did God create such a world? For what reason? He had a reason. He had a reason. If there's a creator, there's a reason to create. So God, Hashem creates, and he says, something, go figure it out yourself. It's unfathomable. 1,000,000 miles of space dust, I'm supposed to figure this out. I built a laboratory for $3 trillion, and any little mistake could cause endless damage. Go figure it out for yourself. There's that rational thinking. Evidently, if you created a world, there's some level of communication to give you an understanding how to utilize this world. What's the value of this existence? Therefore, logically, he has to communicate with man. Not every person, but if you have a capacity for him to communicate with you, he definitely communicates. Therefore, that's a basic tenet. Because if there's nevuah, that means there's a creator. So if somebody received a communication that indicates Morshu nimtzo v'nigla la nimtzoim, he exists and he reveals himself to those who do exist. That's the prophet. That's the Navi. That means there's a relationship. If every day I provide oxygen, your systems, that you exist as a person, and every physical system within your body functions, and it's all synchronized to the smallest detail. Evidently, there's somebody who's causing this. That his essence has relevance to others other than himself. What's the indication that he has relevance to us? Why do we exist? Because he created man 5,000 so many years ago. 774 years ago. Is that why I exist? No. There's no way you exist. You exist because today he wills your existence. Every moment he wills your existence. So if he wills every individual's existence in existence, what does that mean? God has relevance to every aspect of existence. That means it's not he exists independent of anything. Every aspect of existence, he's directly connected to that aspect of existence. One of the 13 tenets of belief is God knows the thoughts and actions of man. Why? How do you know? So Rambam, in that tenet, cites a pasuk. But logically, what does it have to be? If God wills every aspect of existence, now, the chemical process in the brain that allows the thought process. Right? Why does that why is that process in place? God wills that process every moment. So how could he not know my thought process? If he wills the process and the way it functions to bring about the thought process, could he not know what my thoughts are? It's not possible. That's Yodea Machshus B'nei Odom. He knows the thoughts of man. It's interesting. If you take a look at the order, what the Ani Mamin, the tenet that follows, that he knows the thoughts of man and their actions, the next one is Schar V'Onish. He rewards and punishes those. Why? A person does a mitzvah shelo lishma. Right? Doesn't do a mitzvah for the sake of the mitzvah. He does it with a self-interest, with an ulterior motive. Person does a mitzvah lishma, for the sake of the mitzvah. Person does a mitzvah mi'avo, out of love. Person does a mitzvah mi'ira, out of fear or out of reverence. Each mitzvah which is infused with another intent causes to be a different dimension of mitzvah. So how do I give you, if God doesn't know the thoughts of man, how does he reward you for the various levels? It's not possible. Or he had a thought, and because of the thought, the person's culpable. How could the person be punished if God doesn't know the thought? So first you have to say, establish God knows every thought and every action, every movement, every nuance of every human being. Once that's true, okay, now we can talk about where's belief? Belief is in the heart and the mind. Okay? You receive reward for that. Person has a radical thought. Lo sesuru achrei levavchem. We say in the Kriya Shema, you should not veer after your heart. What the Gemara says, what's al levavchem? Zuminus. That's heresy. What's heresy? Doesn't have to manifest itself in behavior. It means if you have a heretical thought in your mind, in your heart, that's being heretical. Person's punished for that. But because God knows the thoughts of man. Vosef Asher Eya. It's Eya Asher Eya. Loma ki avoyosis prochdimsa alei b'shleimus. It's like a reiteration of that. Every aspect of what's needed for the best interest of mankind, of Klal Yisrael, God is fully invested. Zo mashmos Eya Asher Eya. Ki b'shem Eya mora al shavayosos siba v'ascholos nitzoim. This is, like we persons, this is the first payment. There'll be many other payments to complete, to bring about the full objective. It's interesting. Martel tells us in 2 locations that the world will exist for 6,000 years. After 6,000 years, the world will come to an end, because every day of creation corresponds to 1,000 years. The 7,000th year is Shabbos. The world will be fallow. And the 8,000th year, God will create in the world. The world, which is the perfect world. Physical, spiritual world, which was meant to be initially, if Adam wouldn't have eaten of Deitz Hadas. That's what's going to be. So let's say you live the first year of existence. It's not, it has to be 6,000 years. Existence is 6,000 years. Eya. I will everything is perfect as perfect can be. But until you see the full picture, it hasn't achieved its level of perfection. The day by itself is only an aspect of existence. It's Eya Asher Eya. I'm fully invested from the beginning till the end in Klal Yisrael. That's Eya Asher Eya. Thought of a difficulty. After Chet Egel, Hashem says, I will destroy them. And I'll create a new nation from you. That's what he says. So Moshe says, if a chair which has 3 legs can't stand, Klal Yisrael have the schus of Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, how am my progeny going to survive? They don't get to stand on 1 leg. If a chair of 3 legs can't stand, you want to destroy them. So what kind of schus do my children have? My schus, it's not going to survive. Right? But if you told them, Eya Asher Eya, That means I'm fully invested in him now and later. Well, what was he concerned? Moshe Rabbeinu shouldn't be concerned. I mean, he supplicated Hashem. He asked Midas HaRachmim, right? So therefore, I mean, what was he worried? There's no way he's going to destroy Klal Yisrael. I mean, we have casualties. We have casualties. But a total annihilation is not going to happen. So Hashem said, Eya Asher Eya. I'm here now. I'm here with you till the end. Will there be pain? Will there be suffering? There'll be many things. But ultimately, I'm coming through all the way from the beginning till the end. So you have to understand. Even if a person chooses not to do anything, HaKadosh Baruch Hu we have a bris, he will never destroy Klal Yisrael. We may end up, chas v'sholem, with 10 at the end of the day. And in those 10, they'll be rejuvenated. But in terms of the actual, so it's the same thing. Moshe Rabbeinu says, right, I'll create a new nation from Moshe. Moshe says, but I'm not going to survive it. Because I'm only one leg. It's not three. If three can't survive it, one's going to survive it. So maybe it won't. But there'll be somebody down the line who repeat it again. So there will always be a continuation. So you will always be able to fit it in within the words, Eya Asher Eya. I'm with you. But it's going to be a very bumpy road. Chas v'sholem. There are going to be crevices and craters and depth of being able to continue, which will never be impossible, but you'll make it through to the end. What is it going to look like at the end? I'm not sure what the picture will look like. That's the Eya Asher Eya. V'zeh moreh al loshen medaber shu nimtzul zuloso nosin siba v'kim lahem k'mo shetzbayer yizborch siba lahem b'shleimus. God is the cause. We have cause and effect. Who's the cause? He's the cause. We are the effect. Shu siba v'kim l'cholim tzoim b'chol hazmanim ובזה הוא הסחולה וסיבה לשלימוס. וזהו איה אשר איה. וזהו שדורשו איה עמוהם בצורה זו, אשר איה עמוהם אחרס. I will be them in this bondage. I'll be them in future bondages. Ki kvar amarnu lemalo. Ki shem eye asher usiba aschol hasadem tzoim. Eye means the will, causality. Asher eye rotza haschola v'siba b'shleimus. That's reiterated. It's from the beginning, fully from the. I'm willing everything from now to the end. Dainu shascholim tzom b'chol hazmanim k'shu tzrichim lozer. Lefichoch mizeh yodua sheyasu v'yishtabdu. If you say, I'm always here to help them, what do you need help for? Well, now, of course, he wills our existence, but to be helped, we don't have to mention it. What you said is correct. So, good, this asked this question. The mere mortal, he's teaching God how to understand. God endows man with intelligence, discretion, every degree of understanding. And Moshe says, excuse me, Hashem. You're right. What do you mean you're right? God forbid, chas v'sholom. You mean God doesn't have absolute clarity? Is man who's endowed with intelligence and ability, he's going to teach the source of that, what correctness is? He says, Klal Yisrael will ask, what is his name? When they ask, you have to tell them the total name. What is the name? Eya Asher Eya. Shekain Sholom Mashmo. That's what it is. Was Moshe Dayu L'tzar B'Shaito? So Moshe says, but if I give him the full picture, I'm here from the beginning through the end, it's going to be too much. But what did he ask initially for? He wanted to see it in its full sense. Was Amla Kodesh Baruch Hu Kosam LeYisrael Eya Shel Chani Aleichem Rotz Lomar She'al Tamtin Ad She'yishlu Machmo. This is terrific. You're asking, if they ask me the question, what should I say? If they ask the question, you have to tell them Eya She'eya. But preempt them before they ask the question. Say, God is here for you. That's it. You understand? He's not Chas v'Shalom teaching. He's elucidating what he said to them. You're coming to ask me. If they ask me, what is his name, which reveals everything about the present and the future, what should I tell them? The order of Gula, Eya She'eya. But you know something, after that, it's going to be too much for them to deal with. He says, that's why, it's exact, that's why I want you to preempt them. And by preempting them, you just say, Eya Shlochani Aleichem. God is here for you, beginning. Not from the beginning till the end. They have no reason to ask about later. But if they ask, then you have to give them the answer. You have to respond properly. So yitzorach lahagid lohem kol Hashem asher bo nigalu. Im kein tzorach loma eya asher eya lomar lohem kol mahus Hashem el emo lohem eya shlochani aleichem. Preempt them before they ask the question. Lo yishu mashro kim shato maschil loma lohem Hashem v'loma eya shlochani aleichem. That's one approach. So it's not that he's teaching God how to understand Chas v'Shalom. Moshe Rabbeinu. But even without what I'm saying, says the question doesn't even begin. Shekach pirush HaKadosh Baruch Hu Amar LaMoshe Eya She'eya Hu goel osam rosh hachachom Moshe yedu amita shmo. I will redeem them forever, now and the future. And people of the dimension of Moshe, within understanding, must know the truth, the truthfulness of the name. Lo yirotza HaKadosh Baruch Hu sheyom hakach. He never wanted him to share this with the common masses. Was Omer Moshe Dayel Tzar Rishato? Was Omer HaKadosh Baruch Hu Soma El Bnei Yisrael? I'm not telling you to say this. Eya She'eya is only for the elite, for those who are stand behind the people. The Shivim Zakenim. You have the elders. But what do you tell Bnei Yisrael, which are the commoners? Eya Shlachani Aleichem. Klum Abvadi Yisrael Yoma Rak Eya Levad. V'achshodia HaKadosh Baruch Hu LaMoshe ki b'zeh Hashem shu Eya yeh itom latzilosam. Ve'ein Hashem hazeh Shem shel gula rak lo shios meisora. Eya Shlachem, I'm there for you. Person says, you know something, how am I going to make ends meet? I'm with you. And the person knows. The person has the means to hold his hand straight through the problem. Doesn't ask any other questions. If the person has faith, trust in that person, no questions asked. He doesn't say, what about if, what, when? The question never arises. The mass is Eya Shlochani Aleichem. I'm always there for you. But in the reality, what it is, it's overwhelming to know what's in the future. Kach Omer lo komer b'nei Yisrael Hashem Elokei Avosechem Hodia LaMoshe ki yomer lehem b'zeh Hashem yu negolim ki Hashem hamiyuchad nikra Hashem ha'etzem Yud Kei Vav Kei. That is the essence. What is Elokim? Elokim means also powerful, exacting. Yud Kei Vav Kei. So it's really, you see, the Maral says somewhere else, if you want, how could you describe God? God is loving. God is kind. God is compassionate. God is this. That's not his essence, as I discussed earlier. That's the way he interacts with this existence. But what about if you want to say God is Echod? That's correct. Nothing exists outside of him. What is Yud Kei Vav Kei? Ho Yehovah V'yeh. That means Ein Sof. There's no beginning, there's no end. He was, he is, he's in the future. So that is Shem HaEtzem. Every other name describes how he interacts. Ko, Kale, Shakai. But it doesn't say who he is. Yud Kei Vav Kei says what he is. What he is. No beginning, no end. Ho Yehovah, that means total of everything. That's called Shem HaEtzem. That name is the essence of what God is. Now, I'll give you an example. If you say a person's compassionate, but nobody exists outside of himself, could you say he's compassionate? Who is he compassionate to? You have to have a subject to be compassionate to. He's kind, he's cruel, whatever you want to say. It doesn't stand in its own. Something else has to exist other than that. When you say HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Ho Yehovah, God is infinite. Whether the world exists, whether the world doesn't exist. Whether people are of need or what, it's unrelated. This stands in its own right. But if you say he's Rachum and Chanun and Erech Apayim, there has to be something else other than him. To be kind, to be patient, to be so on and so forth. So we speak of the Shem HaEtzem. Avoshar Shem is Nismochim. Meaning it's reliant upon something else. V'ze'inyin ha'gula sha'nigal omei bi'atzmo ve'ninitla b'dover. Saying something phenomenal. When a person is a free man, what is the word free? I'm free to do as I choose. Independent. I'm not reliant. I'm not subject to anybody. What is a slave? Subject to the what? To the dominance, dominion of the master. So Gula is independent, not reliant. I'm free. When he says Hashem Elokeich Shlachani, Yud Kei Vav Kei is used to indicate that the Gula is going to be, you're going to be fully independent, not subject to any other human being. Ki ha'meshuber hu tole b'zuloso. A person who's indebted, enslaved, he's dependent on someone else. But a person who's redeemed, he's not on anybody else's dominion. Omid ba'atzmo, stands independent. The gula is coming through Yud Kei Vav Kei. Just as the name Yud Kei Vav Kei stands independent of anything, the gula will bring about that kind of gula. It's like the second Beis HaMikdash. What was the difference between the first and the second? When we first came in with glory. Tell me, Yeshua, we conquered Canaan. We were under nobody's dominion. By Hasheni, it was a whole different story. Who allowed the Beis HaMikdash to be built? The Persians. It was one after another. It was only with their permission. We couldn't do anything. We had autonomy, but it wasn't full autonomy. We were still bound, and it went bad to worse towards the end. Then there were the Greeks, and there were Romans, and ultimately the Beis HaMikdash was destroyed. The Gemara says in Shabbos, 186 years before the Churban Abayis, the Romans already entered. And they started to infiltrate every aspect of Jewish life. Till finally, they destroyed the Beis HaMikdash. So the second was not Yud Kei Vav Kei. The first Gula was Yud Kei Vav Kei. It came about just as the Shem is Shem HaEtzem. God is independent of anything. Of course, there it describes his essence, identity. The Gula will not depend on anybody. We're not reliant, and we're not intimidated by anything. Ub'Shem hazeh nigolim ki se Hashem al Yisrael nikro ki hu Elokei Avram Elokei Yitzchak Shem Avos Yisrael v'zeh Shmi le'olam. It's zichri lidor v'dor. When it says zeh Shmi le'olam, which is Shmi le'olam? L'kach Shem hazeh te'agula. Right, it says le'olam, it's choser. So over there, Rashi cites Chazal, it's read la'aleim. Right, we don't pronounce Yud Kei Vav Kei. Even the letters are not pronounceable. It has to be concealed. Through that name is the Gula. That's Yudke Vovke. Keep me. Acha Shishima Zen Nikra Aleim. Heim Lechelkis Baruch Shu Nivdal Mikol. My name Yudke Vovke is upon you. That means you are going to take on that characteristic of Yudke Vovke, which stands independent of anything. Could you imagine? You understand? Person has a healthy body, fully healthy and strong. He walks with a crutch. They say, "There's something wrong with you. What do you need a crutch?" You have a healthy leg. Your body functions fully. What do you need a crutch? Do you need support? You need no support. Hashem, when He redeemed us, it's Yud Kei Vav Kei. We're independent of everybody. Why? Because Hashem says, my name is upon you. All of a sudden, you go and seek out favors from other nations, from other people. You need nobody. We need no one. Who do we need? Only HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So it's like a person is fully healthy, and he's coming on to all these other aids to assist him to function. It's insanity. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is here, who's the ultimate, who stands independent. He says, you people reflect my characteristic, and we have that relationship, so where are you going? What do you have to knock on anybody else's door other than my door? To be continued. I have to down for the